Hello, James. How are you today?
I am just fabulous. How are you, Rob?
I'm great. Just had my first COVID-19 vaccination, and it hasn't hit me at all yet. First jab of Pfizer should be fine, you know. So that's one down, one to go. So welcome everyone. This is Pretty Okay at Guitars for our second video for Red Witch pedals. So let's get stuck into it. Let's just get on with this pedal business and start playing around with some stuff so people don't have to listen to us talk too much, hey?
That's it.
What are we going to be reviewing today?
So today
James?
we are reviewing the Red Witch Binary Star, his Celestial Modulator.
Nice. Celestial Modulator. So we're talking spaceships, we're talking going to the stars and exploring the worlds unknown, you know, sort of.
Weird, wonderful space noises.
Excellent. That's what I want to hear.
I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. Let's go on this epic journey to the center of the galaxy. Okay, so we're not going to be playing the same instrument today, though. I guess anyone who's watching this video-wise will be able to tell that, but audio-wise, they probably won't. Now, what are you going to be playing today, James?
So I'm running my guitar named Sven. He's sells guitars made in Ballarat, Australia. Yeah, he's
Ballarat,
my 7-string.
Shout out to Kev at Crossroads, Ballarat.
Yep.
He's your 7-string. Nice.
Yeah, running that through a Mad Professor Forest Green compressor hand-wired into a divided by 13 Kempo profile.
Ah, nice. And nice. All right. And that's your setup, just pretty much straight in and yeah.
Straight in. Let's do it.
Yeah, I'm also running I'm running just my old trusty Roland RD64, which is set up on a Fender Rhodes sound, although I'll also do some Wurlitzer and maybe some synth. I've also got a Moog app for synthesizers. I'm running that through a studio compressor from MXR, and then the Red Witch binary star, which we'll be reviewing today. So let's get stuck into it. So first off the bat, who are Red Witch? Let's just tee everyone up on that as well.
So Red Witch are a company based out of Wellington in New Zealand. They make wonderful hand-assembled pedals, and they're just fabulous.
Nice. Some good fellas over there in Kiwi land. All right, so let's get stuck into this weird and wonderful universe that is the binary star. So straight off the bat, what is it? What sort of pedal is the binary star?
It's a nice, really, really long delay with some pretty wacky modulation built in.
Would you put it in the delay camp or would you put it in the modulation camp? Which camp would you put it in?
Both.
Both.
I would run it as both. So playing around with it, you can go really awesome slapback to stupidly long delay. But then you can also run it with some pretty whacked modulation and get almost flangey vibrato tones.
Nice. So I guess with that, with its being modulation, being delay, this is digital delay as well, right? This is a sort of bucket brigade system, are we talking?
I believe so.
Yeah. I think from the very brief playing of it before that I did, I think it sounds pretty bucket brigade-y. Doesn't sound like a digital delay.
No.
In the digi kind of way.
It's definitely got degraded repeats.
Yeah, it sounds like that analog. Yeah. So yeah, good bit of history for everyone. The bucket brigade concept, or the chip, is named after the firemen who would pass the buckets, and that would be the bucket brigade to put out fires in the big chain, and they would lose a bit of water each time they passed it. And that's kind of how a bucket brigade chip is supposed to work.
That's the most perfect piece of useless knowledge.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
I think every guitarist should know that. The bucket brigade chip is arguably one of the most significant chips in guitar history. probably with the op amp, so it's
Yeah.
I think it's important. Yeah, it's still useless. Nobody becomes a better guitar player because they know that. Cool. All right, so we got that. Now we've got 5 controls across the top and 2 switches. Let's go. Do you want to go left to right, right to left?
Let's go left to right.
Yep. All right, so we're starting with universe.
So universe, think about that as our time. You turn it to the right, the more time, more universe you've got.
Yep.
Yep. And next up we have
philosophical, that.
The replicate. That's your repeats.
Yep.
Your mix, your wet, dry. Now, your velocity and depth is your modulation control within the pedal.
Okay. So the left-hand side's really our delay sort of section for controlling the delay, and the right-hand side is for the controlling the modulation.
That's it. So
nice.
The key point to note is that on the depth knob, if you turn that all the way hard left, that turns your modulation off.
Ah, cool. So you can run it
You can run it pure delay. Yeah.
Nice. Yes, because that is one of my first. Now, can you run it pure modulation as well?
No.
Okay.
But you can turn your universe down so far that it is the shortest slapback you've ever heard.
Okay. And we'll have a go at that later.
We will.
Cool. And then mix in the middle is pretty self-explanatory. That's not mixing the delays and the modulation though.
No, it's
between those
wet
two.
to dry.
Wet to dry.
So completely dry, 50-50, completely wet.
Cool. And that also leads us on to a really cool feature of this pedal that we're not really going to be demonstrating, but is available to you, is the 2 jacks on the back, which now it's not a stereo pedal.
No, it runs wet dry. So if you're running 2 amps, you can run a distorted signal dry and a clean signal wet. It's awesome.
As someone who loves to run 2 amps when I can be bothered carrying 2 amps, every time I set up 2 amps, I love it, and it is the best. And I really should do it pretty much every time I ever play guitar because it really, just clarity. I love it. Cool. And then we've got 2 switches, don't we? Now, little Chinese symbols on these ones.
Yeah, so our switch in our delay side turns us from short to long.
Cool. So left being short, right being long.
That's it.
Cool.
And then our switch on our modulation side is bright versus dark.
Cool. Excellent.
It's tasty.
So that's really good. You're running a Telecaster, you're going to want to probably run it a bit darker so it's not so shrill. And then, humbuckers and different amplifiers. That's kind of why that's there, so it can voice differently for different stuff.
Yep, that's it.
Cool. Yeah, that's awesome. All right, well, let's hear some dry signal, I reckon. Let's just do some playing. Do you want to give us your dry sound on the guitar?
Here's my dry tone.
Tasty.
So that's my neck pickup.
Anyone who's watching as well will notice that James has his nails painted as well. That is for tone. It's for no other reason.
It's completely for tone, and it's not for keeping my 3-year-old entertained.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Everybody knows tone's in the fingers. It's not in the equipment. Although we're trying to say it is in the equipment by saying how good this pedal is, but it is in it's in the fingers there.
Always.
So, sweet. Now, what setting have you got set up there? I'll match you here.
So let's go. Everything. Well, I've got my delay side at 12 o'clock. And I've got my modulation side off, and it's set to short mode.
Cool. Short mode and mix straight up up the barrel.
12 o'clock.
Cool. All right. Let's hear that. Let's see how that sounds.
It's a really nice.
That's really
delay.
nice. It's really good. It's very Yeah, you can really feel the space of it as well. All right, well, I'm going to go the same settings as you, but I'm going to play a Fender Rhodes sound off my keyboard. So here's my dry sound. So all right, now same settings James just had, but a bit of keyboard. Yeah, it's kind of driving a little with my keyboard. I might just back that up a little bit, see if we can. So that I like that with keyboard. That gives a bit of extra. You can play less notes and add a little bit of rhythmic element to your keyboard sound there. Definitely works really lovely with the high end, as you can hear there. I think the low end it starts to growl, but when you get up to sort of above middle C, basically anything you play with the right hand, I think. You can hear how it certainly takes a keyboard sound, which is different to a guitar sound well. Yeah, that's nice. All right, should we move on to another setting?
Yeah, let's flick that over to the long side.
All right.
Same settings. Let's go long.
Long. Alrighty. So do you want to go first or me?
Yeah, you go for it.
All right, here we go. I'm just going to do right hand based on what I did just before. I'm not even going to wait for it to stop because that's a really long delay. That is like when you said long, like that's a lot. Like
and we're halfway there.
Yeah, and it's still going in the headphones. Like it's that's really lovely though. Like the rhythmic things you can do on that. Like instantly when I started playing it there, I could feel that I needed to play less. I needed to play more kind of patterns in a rhythmic form, which I can really see that blending lovely for those kind of like short, sharp synth sounds that people love, you know, like if everyone remembers like Iggy Azalea's Fancy, where it's like bow, 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 you could get some really like that sort of music with really great, just blah, 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 would be lovely. How about you do that same setting now, eh?
Here we go, same setting on guitar. Goes and goes and goes.
So many repeats. So, because that's still going.
Going and going and going.
If you take the replicate back a little bit, though, maybe about 10 o'clock, are you going to not get that kind of feeding back on itself kind of sound? Because it's tasty as. Like, it's a real, like, yeah, like, it's definitely not short of a bit of salt and pepper on top there.
Yeah.
9 o'clock?
9 o'clock
cool,
on...
Yeah.
So you can hear it cleans up a lot.
Yeah, it does. I'll give a little bit on my end as well, just there with a bit of a shorter delay. All right, well, should we move on to a bit to the other side of the pedal and what you get with a bit of mod?
Alrighty, so before we get started, I'm going to put this straight out there. I'm not a modulated delay guy.
No,
not at all.
Don't like a deluxe memory, man. Not a fan of like a Visual Sound H2O.
Not really, no. I like a clean, really crisp delay. Not digital, like a degraded delay, but not a wet, swirly delay.
No, okay. Yeah, so you're not into mods, like generally? Like choruses, flanges?
Yeah, I'm not a huge chorus fan. I don't mind a flanger. I love a tremolo and a vibrato, but I hate chorus.
I mean, fair enough. You know, we like what we like. I was in the camp of hating chorus for a lot of years simply because it just made things sound like, I don't know, in my head when I was a kid, it made things sound cheap to me. And I don't know why I had this conception. And then when I got a bit older and I started using it more subtly and just, I got into more music that used good choruses, you know, like a lot of that music in the 80s that used the old Roland jazz chorus. I started to like it, and I do love it now. But I totally know where you're at, because there are certain times and certain songs where you go, it's not a seasoning there. That is just like a dollop of too much.
That's it.
Like,
so shall we listen to the modulation by itself?
Absolutely. Okay.
So
turn what settings?
Short delay, universe, far as left as it goes.
Yep.
Okay, I've got the switch for the modulation to the left.
Okay.
And then the modulation at midday, just so we can hear it by itself.
So that's the depth?
Yep, the depth and the velocity are at 12 o'clock, and our switch is to the left, which is the mellow side.
All right.
And
easy.
Here's what it sounds like on guitar.
Nice.
So let's bring that universe up a little bit. There we go. So you can kind of hear it there. So the more you push the universe, the more weird and wacky it gets, because the chips feed off each other.
Ah, okay.
If I'm going to max out the velocity and the depths to get as wacky as it gets, here's what we end up with.
Yeah, it's a lovely sort of swirly sound. It's not too much. It's not too little. It's a great. I think that's a beautiful sounding modulation. That
it's not bad by itself. I find as we turn our universe up, so if we turn the velocity, the depth, and the universe all to 12 o'clock, you'll start to push the boundaries of it a little bit there.
Ooh. Yeah. No, I like that. That's especially the pitch bendy stuff that seems to be going on there. Yeah, you can really I don't know of another pedal that really does these kind of feeding backwards and forwards swirls.
That's it. It kind of reminds me of if a flanger and a vibrato had a love child.
With that delay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a weird family.
Let's try it on the keyboard. See how it goes. So I'll just do real simple pattern the top end. like it's a little bit less on my end with the keyboard. It doesn't sound quite as full of that swirliness. So I'm kind of like, I think maybe if I push that universe a little bit more, we'll see what we get out of that with this. Yeah, it's still good. Let's give it a little bit more replication and just see what we get out of that. Yeah, there's a lot of ocean noise kind of wow coming through now.
It sounds great on guitar harmonics.
Oh, give us a little bit of that. I'd love to hear a bit of that sound. Yeah, those high up the neck, high pitched tones kind of really
short, sporadic.
Yeah, it's like it really excites the pedal.
Yeah. Now, as if we take that and then we flick our switch to the right for the bright setting, really comes forward there.
Cool. I'll give it a bit. There's a lot. It almost adds a little bit of a synthesizer-y kind of sound to my Rhodes, which leads me on to wonder, I'll try this a little bit now with the synthesizer and turn the Rhodes off and just see what we get out of that, because we'll see if those kind of sounds kind of gel. So let's just see what we get. Yeah, that quite works. Like that, yeah, enormous synth sound delaying with, the cycle. I like that. I really do. That's some tasty sound.
So now let's push this to its nth degree and turn it to...
All right, we're going to go...
Yeah, let's go long mode on
For all universe. You audio engineers out there, we're going to go all buttons in.
That's it. Turn your universe to maximum it can go. So
maximum.
If we're running without the modulation circuit, it gets to about 1100 milliseconds of delay.
Yep.
It's catastrophically long. But the more the more we bring that modulation circuit in, the more it gets that kind of corrupted chip noise. Let's go long on the delay and push
Where are we going to put up?
I've got the universe to maximum. Replicate about 9 o'clock, mix at midday, and modulation at midday on bright setting.
Cool. And bright is to the right.
That's it. The right is bright.
Right is bright. Cool. Do you want to go first? There's a lot going on there.
There is, isn't there? The modulation side gets nice and wacky.
Yeah, it does. I'm a little bit hesitant to hear how I'm worried this is going to be absolutely hideous to everybody's ears when I play the synthesizer through the same settings, but let's see how we go. Nah, it's pretty cool.
It's got a very creative flair to it.
It does. It's yeah, you could sit with this for a good long time. I mean, it's only 5 knobs, 2 switches, which is quite a lot for a pedal, but there's a lot to muck about with it on it. Now, this guy, how much does he retail for in Australia?
$475 dues.
Other thing, where in Australia can you buy it?
You can buy it at Piper's Music in Wollongong in New South Wales. We can buy it at Strings for Less or Encore Music, Deluxe Guitars, Toshco Music, A&B Music in Victoria. We've got Signal Chain, Pedal Empire, and Guitar Brothers in Queensland, and Music Corner North in South Australia.
Cool. So plenty of places to get out there and have a gander on the old Red Witch binary start. Thanks for listening to us and noodle around on the on this pedal. We'll be back next week or the week after with some more tasty goods for you to have a listen to. But yeah, until then, I'm Rob.
And I'm James.
And this has been Pretty Okay at Guitars.
Somewhat.